Hey, how's it going, guys? It's time to review Mountain Blade Bannerlords, which is the new addition to PlayStation Plus Extra. It has been available for about a week or so, and I have been having a lot of fun playing it. When initially developed, Bannerlords did not prioritize full control support. However, in order to accommodate console players, this had to be addressed. Tailwords Entertainment, although not achieving perfection, found clever workarounds to navigate the keyboard. Nevertheless, the fact that the game can be fully controlled with just a controller does not automatically make it the optimal method of gameplay. Over the past week, I dedicated a significant amount of time to playing Mount & Blade 2 on the PlayStation 5. As an individual who invested countless hours into the PC version of Mount & Blade, I found the controller setup to be less enjoyable compared to the traditional mouse and keyboard. However, despite this drawback, Bannerlord remains an exceptional war simulation game for avid fans of the series who are limited to playing on consoles. The slight inconvenience of adapting to the controller is worthwhile. Right from the beginning of my experience with the PlayStation 5, I encountered challenges. As soon as I began a campaign, I was prompted to make various adjustments to the lighting. However, I struggled to find a straightforward way to confirm my lighting choice and mistakenly attempted to cancel by pressing the circle button, typically used for cancel. Surprisingly, this action seemed to confirm my selection and led me to the next menu. Unfortunately, after I thought I had successfully chosen my faction, the game unexpectedly redirected me back to the lighting menu once again. After some time, I managed to unravel the situation and comprehend the cleverness behind Tailwords Entertainment's approach to adapting this game for consoles. On the PlayStation, the circle button ingeniously transforms your cursor into a mouse. Prior to pressing circle, you can navigate selection using the D-pad, but once you lightly tap circle, your cursor becomes unhinged and you can freely traverse the entire screen, mimicking the movements of a mouse. By opting for this approach, the developers found the most convenient resolution to the controller dilemma, enabling them to launch a console version without the need for a complete overhaul to the UI. While this solution is somewhat unconventional for Mount & Blade 2, it is not without its flaws, as it introduces a few challenges in the process. In terms of the larger aspects of Mount & Blade 2, everything is generally satisfactory. Navigating through towns, engaging with lords, making purchases, and completing quests all function seamlessly. However, tasks such as improving skills and units, equipping items, and recruiting prisoners can be somewhat bothersome, particularly if you overlook the need to click confirm and end up having to repeat the process multiple times. It can be really frustrating in the overworld when you're trying to chase down enemy units or travel longer distances. Switching to the mouse cursor unlocks the view from your character, but it's best to stick with the fixed cursor when attacking raiders or an enemy army. However, if you want to use the fast forward, you have to switch to the mouse cursor, scroll down to the bottom of the screen, and click the fast forward button. By the time you do all this, your view is off your character and you have to go find them again. It's usually just a little annoying, but sometimes you end up fighting more enemies than expected because they're grouped up off screen, and you might end up dying or having to bribe your way out. In the grand scheme of things, there are worse problems, and I probably should have been doing more productive things than chasing down raiders through 3 territories. Using a controller for Mountain Blade 2 on PlayStation was a bit of a challenge, especially during combat. If you have to move your mouse in the direction you want to attack or block, which is really intuitive way to handle combat back in 2008. It takes some getting used to, but once you've mastered it, it really enhances the gameplay and makes taking down tough enemies much more satisfying. When you play Mountain Blade 2 on PlayStation 5, directing your weapon or shield requires using the right analog stick. The stick also controls the camera and the direction of your character is facing. So when you want to attack from the left side, your character also shifts to the left, leaving their right flank exposed. No matter how hard I tried, I just could not seem to master fighting on foot. I tried to strike the enemy's weak spot, but my movements were too slow and clumsy, leaving me vulnerable. Even when I attempted to block and counter, the enemy always managed to attack me twice before I could strike back. The only alternative which I found was using a sword and shield. Two-handed weapons were impossible to block with due to the fact that you can only, if I at least could only focus on blocking or attacking, not the two at the same time, unfortunately. In the end, I gave up and started doing most of my fighting while on horseback. It was a bit better, but the camera shifting every time I drew my weapon made it hard to land hits. I thought using a longer weapon like a spear or a lance would help, but it didn't. I practiced with the spear on the training course and hit all of the targets, but none of them broke. I thought it was a bug, but when I took the spear into real combat and only did 1 damage, it was clear that I wasn't using it correctly. After some time, I got the timing correctly on it, because it takes a lot of getting used to. You have to do it in the middle of the thrusting animation in order to do actual damage. After my mistake with the spear, I decided to test out the two-handed scythe. It worked much better for me since I could prepare my swing before getting close to my target. This allowed me to get a few kills in each battle, but it also caused issues with the controller setup. The horses in Mountain Blade 2 don't turn very quickly, which is actually more realistic than games where they can turn instantly. However, this means you have to take longer strides between attacks or keep pressing the left analog sticks to circle your enemy. Alternatively, you can just try to outmaneuver them, for example slowing down, turning around and facing them, but that can also leave you open for attacks from the back, or what also has happened to me, you can get boxed in by other characters or enemies which are not on horseback, and that makes you unable to move, basically trapped. The issue stems from the controller's keybinds. Those are unfortunately unchangeable. Pressing L3 switches between third and first person view, causing constant changes while maneuvering around enemies. This will not only makes it difficult to attack while mounted, but also gave me a headache. Allowing key rebinds would solve this problem completely. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord is an amazing medieval military simulator where you can take on various roles. Despite the frustration of the console port, Tailwords Entertainment tried to provide full control support, and it's not perfect, and these are things to consider before taking on the game on console. What I would advise is, if you have the opportunity, try the game on PC. It's not perfect in any way on console, but it's still a big work to explore. It's an amazing game. You're able to basically create your own dynasty, because you can also have children which adopt the traits you had. My time was mostly spent traveling from city to city and participating in the tournament fights. Those are really fun if you want to hone your skills, which, as I said, was and is the main downside of the game. But once you get used to it, it really can make the game a whole lot better. In conclusion, I'm going to leave you with my last tournament fight which I had, and thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Till next time, bye.
Well fought! Ah!